Machu Picchu does not announce itself. It does not rise from the landscape like a monument demanding attention. Instead, it reveals itself slowly, almost reluctantly, through drifting clouds, through wet stone, through silence that feels deliberate. This investigative episode of our documentary film series takes us deep into Peru, high into the Andes, to a narrow mountain ridge 2,400 meters, above sea level where human civilization should not exist by conventional logic. Yet here, balanced between two peaks and surrounded by sheer drops, Machu Picchu stands as one of the most precise and enigmatic construction projects in human history. From a distance, it appears organic, as if the mountain itself folded inward and became architecture. But as the fog clears and the stone comes into focus, the illusion breaks. What we see are hundreds of granite blocks, each weighing anywhere from 1 to several tons, cut, shaped, and placed with a level of precision that challenges modern assumptions about ancient technology. There is no mortar between the stones, no visible correction for error, no evidence of improvisation. The joints are so tight that not even a thin blade can pass between them. This forces an unavoidable question that grows louder the longer one looks. How was this accomplished without iron tools, without steel saws, without cranes, without wheeled transport, and without written plans? In an environment defined by thin air, heavy rain, and constant seismic instability, this is not simply a mystery of effort or manpower. It is a mystery of knowledge, organization, and engineering philosophy that appears far more advanced than the historical labels often assigned to the Inca civilization. To understand Machu Picchu, we must first understand its location, because geography here is not a backdrop but a decision. This ridge was chosen with intention. It lies above the Urubamba River, which curves through the valley like a living boundary, isolating the site naturally from outside approach. The surrounding mountains form a defensive amphitheater, while the elevation provides both concealment and control. For the Inca ruler Pachacuti, this location was not random or symbolic alone. Pachacuti was a transformative figure, an empire builder who restructured Inca society, administration, and ideology. He did not build Machu Picchu for common habitation. It was conceived as a royal estate, a ceremonial retreat, and possibly a political sanctuary reserved for elite use. Transforming this wild mountain ridge into a stable urban complex required reshaping the land itself before any structure could rise. The Incas first carved terraces directly into the mountainside, anchoring them to bedrock. They removed unstable soil, redirected natural water flow, and compressed layers of crushed stone and gravel beneath the surface. What remains visible today is only the final layer of a much larger system. The real city lies inside the mountain, hidden beneath plazas, temples, and stairways. This unseen infrastructure is the reason Machu Picchu still stands. It was engineered not to resist nature, but to cooperate with it, allowing gravity, water, and seismic motion to move through the site without destroying it. Rain dominates life in the Andes, and the Incas treated it as the primary design challenge. Machu Picchu receives intense seasonal rainfall, frequent fog, and sudden storms capable of saturating soil in minutes. Uncontrolled water would have caused landslides and structural collapse within years. The solution was a drainage system, so extensive that modern engineers estimate more than 60% of the construction effort was dedicated to water management alone. Hidden beneath the stone streets and open plazas are channels that collect and redirect runoff. Every terrace is subtly inclined, designed so water never pools on the surface but filters downward through stone and gravel layers. This system stabilizes the slope and prevents erosion. The genius of this approach lies in its invisibility. The Incas did not attempt to dominate the environment with massive barriers or walls. Instead, they allowed water to move exactly where it wanted to go, but only after slowing it, filtering it, and guiding it safely away. This approach explains why Machu Picchu has endured centuries of heavy rain without catastrophic failure. The city survives not through resistance, but through adaptation, a lesson that modern infrastructure often relearns through costly mistakes. Above this hidden foundation rises the most visually striking feature of Machu Picchu: its stonework. The Incas primarily used granite, one of the hardest stones available, and worked it without metal tools. Quarries located near the site provided raw material, extracted using a method that appears simple but required deep understanding of material behavior. Wooden wedges were hammered into natural fissures in the rock, then soaked with water. As the wood expanded, it exerted pressure that split the stone cleanly along predictable lines. This process allowed the Incas to extract large blocks without shattering them. But extraction was only the beginning. The true challenge lay in shaping and fitting. These stones were not standardized blocks. They were individually carved, each one shaped to fit its neighbors in a three-dimensional puzzle with no margin for error. This required repeated lifting, testing, adjusting, and polishing. The result is dry masonry of extraordinary precision. Polygonal. Blocks interlock with irregular angles, creating walls that are both strong and flexible. This was not aesthetic. Experimentation. It was engineering strategy. Earthquakes are a constant reality in the Andes, and Machu Picchu was designed with seismic motion in mind. The walls tilt slightly inward, lowering their center of gravity. Doorways and windows are trapezoidal, narrower at the top, which distributes stress more effectively. Stones are cut so they can move minutely during seismic activity, absorbing energy rather than resisting it. When the ground shakes, the blocks shift, then settle back into place once the motion stops. This dynamic stability allows the structures to survive repeated earthquakes without cracking. This principle explains why later, colonial buildings constructed with mortar and rigid geometry collapsed over time, while Inca walls remained intact. Machu Picchu does not fight earthquakes, it dances with them. This understanding of motion, weight, and flexibility demonstrates an intuitive engineering knowledge that rivals modern seismic design philosophies. Surrounding the urban core are the agricultural terraces, often called the hanging gardens of the Incas. These terraces were not decorative. They were essential to survival at high altitude. Each terrace is a carefully engineered system. Base layer of large stones allows water to drain freely. Above that lies gravel, then sand, and finally fertile topsoil. This layered design prevents waterlogging, controls erosion, and retains just enough moisture for crops. The terraces also function as thermal regulators. They absorb solar heat during the day and release it slowly at night, reducing frost damage. Corn, potatoes, and medicinal plants were cultivated here, providing food security for the site's inhabitants. This agricultural system allowed Machu Picchu to function independently, without relying on constant supply from the valley below. The city was not merely built on the mountain, it became part of the mountain. Water distribution within Machu Picchu reflects the same precision seen in its stonework. Natural spring located uphill feeds a stone canal, carved with exact slope measurements. Too steep, and the water would erode the channel. Too shallow, and it would stagnate. The Incas achieved a perfect balance. The canal feeds a sequence of fountains, each identical in dimension and spacing, indicating standardized planning. Clean water was carefully separated from drainage and waste, ensuring sanitation centuries before modern plumbing. This system served both practical and ceremonial purposes. Water was not only a resource, but a sacred element, and its controlled movement through the city reflected cosmic order. The fountains may have been used in ritual purification, blending daily life with spiritual practice in a way that defined Inca worldview. Religion and astronomy are embedded directly into Machu Picchu's layout. The Temple of the Sun is positioned to capture the rising sun during the winter solstice, when light enters through a window and strikes a specific stone surface. This alignment required long-term observation of solar cycles and precise architectural execution. The Intihuatana stone, carved from living rock, is another astronomical instrument. At certain times of year, it casts no shadow at noon, demonstrating awareness of equinoxes and solar zeniths. These features reveal that Machu Picchu functioned as both a ceremonial center and a cosmic observatory. The city itself becomes a calendar, a place where time, space, and belief intersect in stone. Despite its sophistication, Machu Picchu vanished from historical record within decades of its construction. When the Spanish conquered the Inca Empire in the 16th century, they never found this city. Hidden by jungle and protected by its remote location, it escaped destruction. It was likely abandoned during the collapse of imperial authority, possibly due to disease or political upheaval, but it was never burned or rebuilt. For centuries, it remained known only to local farmers until July 1911, when explorer Hiram Bingham arrived guided by indigenous residents. Bingham believed he had found the last Inca capital, but his discovery was something else entirely. Photographs and publications introduced Machu Picchu to the world, igniting fascination and debate that continues today. That discovery also sparked controversy. Artifacts removed during early excavations became symbols of colonial imbalance, leading to decades of dispute over ownership and return. Machu Picchu became more than an archaeological site. it became a national symbol, a cultural inheritance and a global icon. Today, it is studied with modern tools, from ground-penetrating radar to satellite imaging. Yet many questions remain unanswered. This documentary does not present a single theory as absolute truth. Instead, it compares evidence, acknowledges uncertainty, and explores competing interpretations. What is clear is that Machu Picchu was not an accident. It was a deliberate, integrated mountain complex where engineering, agriculture, astronomy, religion, and political power merged into a single vision. At 2,400 meters above sea level, this city should not exist by conventional logic, and yet it does, standing as a reminder that ancient civilizations were not primitive versions of modern society, but different expressions of intelligence, capable of solutions that still challenge our understanding today.